For the first time since her historic election results, the glow from Jacinda Ardern's gold medal win has dimmed.
But National and Judith Collins won't be cracking the champers over our latest Newshub Read research poll. They don't even make the podium.
Political editor Tova O'Brien is here now, and an old ally has become Ardern's threat.
That's right. Labor's iron grip on the parliament has been prized open. It no longer governs alone on 43% plunging a significant 9.7 points. But Labor's loss is hardly National's gain on 28.7%, up 1.7, and that's because someone else is capitalising. ACT is going off 11.1%, up 4.2. That's who's breaking out the bubbles. David Seymour and co. ACT's highest result ever in our poll. The Greens get a wee bump on 8.5%, up 1.4. And check this out, with more lives than a cat, Winston Peters in New Zealand First on 3.4%, up 1.5. Not bad, but not quite good enough to make it back. The Māori Party leading the miners on 1.9, up 0.7. Seats in the House remind us Labour still holds the pole position, 56 seats. Sure, it's lost 9, but with a coalition with the Greens' 11 seats, it is still boss. And National's 37 seats plus ACT's impressive 14 just don't cut it. The Māori Party holds its 2. This poll really is a watershed. It represents a couple of consequential political pivot points. Labour's wounded, albeit self-inflicted, but while National would traditionally benefit, it is a mess. So ACT, take a bow. Today is your day. And wait, there's more. Jacinda Ardern really digging her party into a hole. For a while it seemed she could do no wrong by voters. Now she's struggling to do much right.
Has your government become arrogant?
No, not at all. You know, for me it is about listening.
And there's plenty to listen to. The backlash palpable. Take your pick. The housing crisis, immigration, mental health, nurses' strikes, the botched bubble, vaccination rates, a really overpriced cycle bridge and Utegate.
Bugger.
So a charm offensive is coming, starting with the loosening of the borders.
There are things we can do to ease the pressure that different sectors feel. I know, for instance, horticulture, agriculture, really experiencing workforce issues. We're working hard on those, and we will have more to say on that next week.
Labour's problems have National rubbing their hands together.
It's a long way up.
But Judith Collins cannot get a foothold.
Blimey!
Despite trying to drive herself into the anti-government zeitgeist in a ute, it's not enough. David Seymour's soaring past her as sovereign of the right. Collins not helped by her party, which has become synonymous with scandal, infighting and instability. So far, despite his much bigger caucus this term, Seymour has no such woes.
If they still want to roll me on these numbers, then that means I got a very ambitious caucus and I wish them all the best.
Jacinda Ardern is still head and shoulders the country's preferred Prime Minister, 45.5%, though she's lost 2.6 points, which incidentally is exactly how much Judith Collins has gone up by, landing on 8.2%. But again, any hope of toasting her small successes are dashed by David. Seymour is better liked on 8.6%, up 3.
You know, beating you in the preferred Prime Minister stakes.
Come on, I don't think we want to be silly like that. It's a long way out. Jacinda Ardern's beating both of us.
Has David Seymour become the de facto leader of the opposition?
But if you needed further proof, he has. We also asked voters, who do you think is a better leader, David Seymour or Judith Collins? Far more back Seymour, 41.7%, than Collins, 25.9%. But here's the rub. Dig down into National voters. They rate Seymour on 43.1%, more than Collins, 38.5%. Ouch.
Why do they like him more than they like you?
I think you're being silly now.
Do you want to be the Prime Minister, David Seymour?
Look, if the people of New Zealand ask me to serve in a role, I serve in a role. That's what I've always done, and it applies to all roles.
Seymour and Collins have been scrapping over the same issues, race relations, hate speech, farmers, also fertile territory for Winston Peters.
We are coming back.
And his recent brief appearance has ushered him back into political relevance, although not everyone agrees.
Look, he's a spent force and a wasted vote.
Not worried about minor parties. Thank you.
At this stage, for the right to have any real hope, they'd have to somehow all join forces. Unlikely. So while the right's in ruin, the left keeps laughing.
OK, Tova, will Jacinda Ardern be worried about this result?
Yes, and after a confluence of crappy calls, Jacinda Ardern is listening, starting with that hint that more skilled workers will be let in. And with the Greens still there to keep Labour in power, the biggest story here really is more about those ructions on the right.
And Tova, do National Act risk a loss here because they're fighting amongst themselves?
Yeah, precisely. Elections are fought and won in the centre at the moment. National Act and New Zealand First are fixated on the same further right issues. It's not actually a terrible tactic for National. Firm up the base after an election loss, move to the centre as you get closer to polling day. But the closer that National gets to polling day, the closer Judith Collins gets to being rolled. Being overtaken by David Seymour is death knell stuff. So listen out for the murmuring at next weekend's National Party conference, because sooner or later, those murmurs, they will turn to mutiny.